Hello everyone, and welcome to this podcast. We are here for Sports Ed TV. My name is Sebastien Lavoie. I'm a tennis analyst with the data-driven sports analytic team, and we're going to discuss today the U.S. Open and tennis, and to get a perspective on the player's view, the coach side, and also an analyst. I'm here today with two amazing colleagues. First of all, Aleksandra Wozniak is located in Montreal in Canada, like me. How are you today, Aleksandra?
I'm good, and you?
Very good, thanks, Alex. Alex is a former WTA player from the mid 2000 until 2008, and currently run for about 1 year now the Aleksandra Wozniak Tennis Academy in Bedford, Quebec. Also with me, Shane Liyanage, principal consultant and founder of DDSA. How are you, Shane? You're located in Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, at the other end of the day for me, but it's great to be on with the two of you. I'm really looking forward to the US Open next week, but let's get into it.
Great. So let us start, I guess, with you, Alex. I mean, you have such a rich experience on the tour. And we'd like to get your bring back some memories, your insight about how do you prepare for a big tournament like the U.S. Open? Does the fact it's a different time in the season change something? The New York vibe, does it can disturb players or not? Does it change your routine? We'd like to have some kind of an idea of your perspective.
Yeah, the U.S. Open, I've played it so many times since juniors, even before being a professional. And it's it's an amazing vibe, so much energy. And you feel like when you play on Arthur Ashe Stadium that the crowd's actually in that stadium much closer to you. So for sure, you feel like when they support you, they scream your name, and they're so much closer that you feel like they're right next to you compared to the other stadiums at the like Wimbledon, French Open, and the Australian Open. And it's a great feeling to play there, and it's every Grand Slam is special, and it just brings back a lot of good memories. I played on Arthur Ashe a couple of times already. I remember a big win against Emily Mauresmo. Wow. And the preparation for a Grand Slam is always like any other tournament, but you know that you want to perform even more because it's the Grand Slam and it lasts 2 weeks, so you have even more time to recover between matches when you keep winning. And the routine is very like everyone is so focused and in their bubble and disciplined to do like their own little patterns of practices and preparing. Like it's closer you get to the tournament, the less you practice. You don't train 6 to 8 hours a day on and off the court, but you do shorter practices, but you keep your rhythm and you play a lot of points to get that competition mode on. So and it's exciting that even though we're in this pandemic, that they're still going on with the tournaments this year.
Well, that's a lot of nice information you just provide us, Alex. Now, Shane, if I turn to you, I would really like to have your perspective for our audience listening about more analytics itself and how a tennis analyst prepares for such a big event. Does demand from players and coaches change? Any specifics you can share with us today?
Yeah, sure. Look, the reality is I think the arrangements are all very different. We've got some arrangements where we're very hands-on, so the coach wants a lot of information. They want feedback after matches, that they want scouting of opponents. And there's other arrangements that are maybe not as hands-on, and it'll be maybe a few questions that they might ask, or just say, well, how's the serve going in this direction? So it depends a little bit. And I'd say for the US Open, really, because of the Olympics this year, the schedule's been a little bit more crammed. So there's been a lot of matches with some of the arrangements that we've had, and it's also about managing the schedule as well. So the week before, in terms of specifics, some of the things that we did based on all the hardcore data that we've had from Olympics onwards, we looked at certain patterns that have been working and certain patterns that haven't been working. And for specific players, we looked at which opponents are giving them trouble. So a lot of this week has been practicing some of those patterns, making sure they choose the right hitting partners so they get practice against players that that they want to work on against. And then I guess when the draw came out 24 hours ago, I think the focus was first round, so who they're playing, getting some data on the opponents, videos from the opponents. I've been certainly the players that are playing Monday, I've spoken to all the coaches, given them a match preparation pack basically, and we've had questions, and then tomorrow I'll do the players that are playing on Tuesday. I'll do the same thing. So gives them enough time to process. They'll come back to me with questions in the next 24 hours potentially. And then when Monday comes along and they play, it's I guess see the match, pull data, do a review, and then hopefully look forward to second round.
It's so rich in terms of data information today that we have with technology, Shane, and I guess in terms of skills, what is required to perform as a tennis analyst and provide the good information. I mean, if we look at data science overall, it's about first digging into the big data, coding if necessary, maybe analyzing, and after communicating in the right way to players and coaches. Do you have any insight about what's for you the important skills to have as a tennis analyst?
I think there's probably three sets of skills, but there is the ability to have the analytical skills. So having a data science background, being able to work with a lot of different data sets. So with the different players, you've got data from manually tagged coding of matches, so Dartfish, Sissa, tools like that. Then you can also get data from Hawkeye, other automatic AI data capture systems. And then sometimes players are wearing GPS devices in training, so you get data from that as well. So you've got to have the skill set to be able to bring it all together and then succinctly and visualize that in a way that a coach who doesn't have a lot of time, or a player who doesn't have a lot of time to look at it, they can quickly get the information. So yeah, the analytical skills are big. I think one of the biggest skills is the soft skills. So the communication, being able to adapt to the different arrangements. So one of the teams that I'm working with at the moment, the coach and the players actually studying to be an aeronautical engineer. So they're very, very intelligent, they like a lot of detail. I can contrast that arrangement to another player that I'm working with who's very who loves simple things simply, is a bit more free-flowing, artistic. So the way I communicate to those two are very different. So as the analyst, you have to be able to adapt, and particularly the soft skills and the communication, asking questions, making sure that they understand what you mean, and giving them enough opportunity to be able to ask you questions. I think that's important.
Okay, thanks for providing these insights, Shane. I'm going to turn it back to Alex, because Alex, I had the chance to see you at the US Open in 2013, entering your first round match that you won. And I'm curious, at that time, did you use data analytics? Was it available to some players at the time? Or did you see during your career path sometime a change or more utilization of advanced data to marginally increase the performance of tennis players? How was it, like let's say 5 years ago or 10 years ago, 15 years ago? Did you see any evolution on that front? And did you use these kind of services?
Actually, I wish we had this advantage that this technology now offers, because back then, sometimes the WTA, the ITF, they would film your matches, or just would be a person and a computer where they would just type in your double faults, your winners, all these statistics, but not enough the pattern. It's all that in details. I wish I had more access to what is offered today, for sure, because that's going to help you improve your game, and you analyze everything, your weaknesses, your strengths, and it helps you see and realize things where you can adapt and improve and get to a higher level, even play better tennis. So for sure, that is a tremendous help that we have access to this now, but I wish I had access to this back then. And for sure, it's like a transition right now for coaches and players to actually see and be able to have this technology. Because before, back then, people didn't have enough knowledge. Same if we talk tennis or fitness-wise, everything is developed to another level in our sport, tennis, now. So definitely, I encourage all the players and coaches to get on this technology.
Yeah. Well, otherwise, if you don't, you're, in my view, you're kind of an asymmetric information or disadvantage relative to players that will use such data. Of course, maybe in your time,
you're
Alex.
limiting your game.
Exactly.
You're limiting yourself,
So your perspective is very interesting, Alex, and it brings me back to Shane, because basically, Shane, what Alex is talking about is about, well, if we have data or some quantitative support, we can apply things on the court, or we can apply things in practice, and expect there's some issues with that. In terms of challenges, because some of the findings, I assume, Shane, can be quick fix, or sometimes it's maybe something you can do more over the long run, and you see progress, over 6, 12, or 18 months. Do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I guess that's one of the challenges as an analyst, to be aware of. There's a lot of data. You can pull out a lot of information. And certain information might be absolutely correct, but if a player's playing their match tomorrow, you can't say, okay, the data's saying your technique's wrong, because they don't have enough time to action it. So you have to make that judgment call about, okay, that's something we leave towards maybe an off season, or we have 6 or 7 weeks block to be able to do that. And then there's things like, well, you're playing a particular player and this is the service pattern that works well against them. That's something that they can learn, and the team can practice that in the practice and apply it in the match a lot easier. So there's certainly the short, medium, and long term. I think in terms of application, and it's something that you work closely with the coach as well. I think it's very important that to remember that as the data analyst, you're the support. The hero of the story is the player. And their mentor is the coach, and the data comes in as support. So whilst there's a lot of things that you can action, you work closely with the coach to prioritize which are the actions that are the most important for the immediate sort of like in this week, for instance, would be the tournament, and then post the tournament, if you have 6 or 7 weeks, then you can look at some of the medium term actions, and then certainly at the end of the year, pre-seasons, where you can start looking at some of the more long-term things that you want to change.
Well, thanks, Shane. Alex, before we wrap it up, I would like to have your view about your transition from a player to a coach. Recently, I saw on your social media posting that the Aleksandra Wozniak Academy has been going on for a year. So how this is evolving on your hand?
It's great. It's been officially a year, and since I retired in December 2018, 2019 was a transitioning year. I knew I wanted to help. It was my time to give back to the community, to help people, and I wanted to stay in some way in the tennis world. And I did my certification, and I went on tour a bit with junior players. And it's great, that I'm able just to share my expertise, my experience, and help people polish their game and bring it to another level. So actually, I see that it takes more as a coach time to transition. You got to analyze more. You got to communicate in a way that your player understands, and you see their involvement, their progression also. So for sure, the data, it's a plus, and coaches got to use it and actually know the timing. Like Shane was explaining, you cannot just give it before a big match and then your player overanalyzes themselves, maybe loses their confidence because they're not, their backhand is not working or a certain pattern they're doing. You gotta be the coach and tell them what to do and be smart about the timing of everything. So it's a lot of like mentally, that analyzing the timing of everything. But I really enjoy being a coach. Actually, I didn't know I would love it at this point, because before when I played, people were saying, "Oh, do you think you're going to be a coach later?" I said, "Well, I started playing tennis at the age of 3, and and I'm playing very long time tennis, and I love it. But I don't know if I'll be a good coach." And it's different because when you're a player, you listen to your coach. And when you're a coach, you gotta communicate more, analyze more everything. But actually, I found that I really love it, and I enjoy seeing all my players like progress, and that you're actually helping them improve the way they want and reaching their goals. So it's very satisfying, and I really enjoy it. Yeah, the academy is great. Players come from all over the world, so it's very encouraging, that I can help out in this way.
Wow, that's very nice, nice words, and we feel your passion for the game and share it with players from different levels. Shane, maybe to conclude, we're still in a pandemic. Maybe it's time. Yes, tennis analytics is very meticulous, rigorous task sometimes, but there's also very fun moments, especially for us at Data-Driven Sports Analytics. Anything you want to share about how the 2021 season is going? Any specific funny requests or fun moment that you want to share or we had so far?
Yeah, I mean, similar to Alex, I think just love seeing an athlete or a team make their goals and see a lot of their sort of dreams sort of coming into fruition. That's something as a support person within the team, you're very proud that you're playing a little role for them to be able to achieve that. In terms of specifics, I think there's certainly some matches that stand out. I know that Ons Jabeur winning the title, becoming the first Arabic woman to win a WTA title is incredible. I'm very proud as well for us to be working with Zabalenka and for her to win on clay when there was a lot of people, I think, from outside were saying she couldn't play on clay. For her to beat Ash Barty in the final there was really good. Loving the work we're doing with Emil Ruzavuri. He's making some good progress.
True.
Yeah, so I mean, it's hard to just name a few. There's lots of different teams that you're happy to be a part of and providing some support to. So it'd be unfair for me to just pick out a few of them. But yeah, look, it's been a great year. I mean, there's still the US Open and Indian Wells being moved as well. So I think there's still a lot of the seasons actually still remaining this year. So hopefully have a good finish, and then really hope that Australia gets enough vaccines and the Australian Open goes ahead in Melbourne.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
we all, I guess, were able to share, connect on many great facets of tennis ahead of this great US Open. I hope everyone listening enjoy this podcast. I guess it's time to wrap up and say a big thank you to all of you. Alex, thanks again. Shane,
Thank you.
thank you for your time and your insight. And this podcast will be available on Sports Ed TV in the tennis section very shortly. So again, thanks for your time and hope you enjoy. See you soon.